Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday edition of the Morning Motivator. Janet Legere here. My honor and privilege to be here with you today. I'm just, I can't explain how I'm feeling right now and what's happening. It's just like things are just coming together for me. I'm beginning to create magic, and today is More Monday, and it's a very applicable day. I have managed to avoid the affliction that everybody got last week. I started with my grandson Bennett, and then my daughter-in-law got it, Dawn got it, and it looks like Zadie and her dad got it, and it has hit me. I felt it coming on the last few days. I still feel fine. I can just feel that there's something going on in my body. So I've been taking care of myself, resting. Dawn can tell you I'm resting, taking it easy, letting my body do what it needs to do. I feel pretty good. But I can feel that there is something in me. You can probably hear it in my voice. The whole right side of my head feels like it's quite stuffed up this morning, and I can feel a bit of a tightness in my chest. Good morning, bears. Yeah, well, we got a few bears, a few stragglers here. I've been moving things around and cleaning things up, making room for things. You should see my office. Oh, it's a mess. Your affliction is winter. Um, Frankly, I love winter. I love the seasons. Let's talk about that for a moment. My affliction is winter. We joke about the seasons, don't we? We joke about how tired we are with the weather. We joke about how, we joke about the storms. We joke about global warming. We joke about how much we don't like the weather, right? When the truth of the matter is, we have no control over the weather. Not really. The weather's beautiful here this week. It's going to be in the double digits, 15, 16 degrees Celsius. That's in Calgary, and in March, that's shirt sleeve weather. Everybody about in their shirt sleeves. The guys will be out on their bikes. People will be right. It's summer. And it's beautiful. And I take advantage of that weather when it's here. I love it. I appreciate it. When the weather is inclement, I'm grateful that I work from home. And I've had people say, how do you live up there? How do you even live in the winter? And I laugh at them. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? How do I live here? This is where I was born and raised in Canada, and the weather is the weather. I must say, though, that I really love Calgary because the weather here is so unpredictable, and it's always been unpredictable, and it'll probably always be unpredictable, and I'm okay with that. Maurice is feeling better since we moved the clocks forward. I look forward to the day that we abolish that silly activity. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. All it does is mess up my internal clock and makes me crazy. Yes, it's like, well, again, that's another thing. I have nothing I can do about it. I just have to cope with it, allow my body to rest, which is what I need to do, because my body just says, what's with this hour? I've messed up. Although I must say it was pretty nice this morning because I got up just after 5. Well, normally that would be 4, and I'd be forcing myself to stay in bed for another hour. And, well, it was nice to get up. I was in bed pretty early last night. More Monday, always continue the climb. It is possible for you to do whatever you choose. It is. If you first get to know who you are and you're willing to work with a power that's greater than ourselves to do it. I was thinking all weekend, doing some searching. I do want to read from this most amazing little book, Reflections on a Philosophy. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this, by Forrest C. Shackley Sr. Anybody know who that is? Just curious. Anybody ever heard of the Shackley Corporation? No? The Shackley Corporation was founded in 1956, I believe. It might have been 57. I'm sure that's in here anyway. And this book, Dr. Shackley wrote this book in 1973. Dr. Shackley cured himself of cancer using nature, mostly alfalfa, He has an amazing company. We are part of that company. Shackley is an amazing company. And Dr. Shackley wrote this book, Reflections on a Philosophy, and it's really thoughts on thoughtmanship. And I thought we would read it. You've heard of Shackley, yeah. They're probably not that familiar with Dr. Forrest C. Shackley, Sr. He's an amazing man. Well, you know, Maurice, if you don't do well when there's 14 hours of darkness, it doesn't matter what time of day those 14 hours of darkness happen. Maybe you should go move somewhere where there's 14 hours of daylight instead. However, in Canada, that changes. Here in Calgary, in the summer, the sun is up till midnight and up again at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's really quite phenomenal. Yeah, you've heard of Shackley. So I wanted to read this book because the message here, it's really about being in balance with life and nature. Thoughts are things. This is someone that you may never have heard of, and yet I think his message in this book is profound. I want you to know right now, this is not a sales pitch. There's no sales in this book. This is not about Shackley, the corporation. This is about thoughts. And then we're going to read a bit of this, and we will read the whole book. It's not very big. It's 60 pages. I mean, the print is small, as you can see. And then, with your permission, I would like us to go through the 22 processes in Ask and It Is Given. I think it's high time that we started playing these games again, that we started doing those processes, because I bet if I ask around the room, none of you are using these processes. I have processes that I do every day regardless, but I'm going to guess that, we went through the book. We've read the book 3 times on Morning Motivator. Not once, 3 times. And I think I'm right to say that none of you are playing these games. Maybe they added the gratitude. All right, I'm going to take that back. I suspect most of you are using the gratitude journal. At least I sure hope so. But I want to go through these again. I think it's important to remind ourselves that we have these strategies right there in front of us, ready to go. I want to read the foreword from Dr. Shackley. May I suggest that you read this message with the understanding that it is a reflection of one man's life in his search for what man is and why he is. It is a philosophy for living, as I have experienced it. Rest assured that there will be nothing said that will tend to alter your religious belief, unless it is to strengthen such a belief. The method in which you worship is believed to be your right. Your commitment or devotion to any religious faith or observance should remain a matter of your choice. The foundation of this philosophy is a man-nature relationship, and I will confine my explorations of man to his physical and mental endowments and the influencing force that nature has upon them. It is important that you recognize not only the beauty of nature, but what it really means in our everyday life. We visualize the products of nature, such as the trees, the flowers, shrubs, all things natural. But do we realize that nature is our sole supplier? She gives us everything. Behind such a realization lies the force that we will explore together. The force that is often too simply called nature is, then, really an expression of a wealth of other positive forces, the creative force, the life force. Yes, man's life force is creative energy directed in all its activity by the creative intelligence. All living things, man included, are products of nature. The life force in man is the same force as is directed by the same creative intelligence that directs all other living things. Man differs from other living things only in his ability to reason. Reason is the intelligent consciousness of man that serves to direct the energies of the life force within us. For over 70 years, ever since I was a young lad, I have been living a most pleasant and profitable relationship with nature, and I trust that you too will cultivate such a relationship. You cannot in any way alter such a relationship, but you can make it more realistic by so arranging your thought patterns to bring yourself closer into harmony with nature. Yes, a better understanding of man's relationship with nature will help you meet and overcome the problems that are sure to lie ahead. I cannot take you by the hand and lead you down the trail I have followed these many years. To do so would mean going backward, tackling the problems of years gone by, facing their solutions. Moreover, I cannot, nor will I, attempt to solve your problems for you. I can only attempt to arouse a consciousness in you that will permit you a better understanding of your own ability to solve your problems. Such information as you may gain from the study of this message should give you the determination to face all of your tomorrows with firm resolution to win. Your future life will be exactly what you decide to make it, because every thought that has ever been produced by man or ever will be produced is already here on this earth now. We are blanketed by the vibrations of these thoughts. We need only to recognize them, to hear them, to learn to understand them. I can assure you that I know this to be a fact, for I have experienced and lived this philosophy these many years. I am not asking you to accept these statements as something based upon theory. They are facts of life. I have lived by these facts, and nature has never let me down. I do not present these facts, this Shaklee philosophy, then to be read and quickly forgotten, but to help you to produce a formula for life. Take these truths into your mouth by reading them aloud. Chew them well and mix them with past experience. Then pass them on for complete digestion and assimilation. When the digestive process has been completed, you will find yourself in possession of knowledge that will aid you in living a more natural life. In this message, I make no attempt to entertain you. On the other hand, I do not intend to bore you. Most important, I hope to arouse your curiosity. Life begins this moment. What you think, you look. What you think, you do. What you think, you are. What do you think? That was the foreword. Has it piqued your curiosity and interest to read more? Would you like to hear what Dr. Shaklee says on thoughts and thoughtmanship and man and nature? Would you like to hear more about how you can have anything you want, and that it is your job and only you can do it? I can only pass this message on as Dr. Shaklee has suggested, as you can do. Take it in, absorb it. Listen, these words are no different than the words we've read from Ask and It Is Given, from Co-Creating at Its Best, from The Vortex, from Louise Hay, from Pam Grout, from anybody we've read, from The Secret to anyone, Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar. Somewhere on my desk there's a phone. Here it is. Just let me shut that off. All right. Let's continue. We're going to read a bit. We'll see how far we get. I don't even think we'll get through the first chapter today. They're very long, but we'll read a bit. I have my pencil handy, and we'll take our time through this. What you think, this is chapter 1 on thought by Dr. Forrest C. Shaklee Sr. What you think, you look. What you think you do. What you think you are. What is thought? No one has ever seen a thought. We can only visualize the effect thought has upon us and others. Of one thing we may be sure, however, thought has an affinity to the physical. Every thought that you develop sends an impulse to every tissue, every cell in your body. The body responds, and in this way, thought results in a physical expression. Without thought direction, there would be no voluntary physical action. This applies not only to the physical actions of man, but to the action and reaction of all life existing on this earth, to the influences of thought vibrations. We cannot escape the effects of our thoughts. upon our well-being. For our life is what we think to make it. We cannot escape the effects of our thoughts upon our well-being. For our life is what we think to make it. Sound familiar? Where do thoughts come from? In the mind? What is the mind? It may be somewhat surprising when I say that there is no such thing as mind. The mind is simply a process, not a thing. We use that process to give expression to our desires. The process of mind is, of course, a very important function, and this function produces thought. This brain is not the process of mind. It is a physical organ that is used by both your inner consciousness and your educated consciousness to create the impulse of thought. Oh, I love that idea. That's a lot different than saying your subconscious and your consciousness, your inner consciousness and your educated consciousness. In preparing this message, it is not my desire to refute statements made by any other philosopher or writer. I merely wish to share the truths that have been presented to me over the past 7 decades of study and research into natural things. If what is related here seems at first contrary to your understanding, I ask that you withhold judgment until you have been presented with all of the facts. I don't think any of us have to worry about that, do we? Because we are all of that mind already, thank goodness. My life's experiences have been recorded in my inner consciousness. Through the process of mind, this acquired knowledge is now being revealed. Try to approach these ideas with an open mind. Do not allow prejudice to blind you. Read every word and read carefully. Weigh every fact in your reason's scale. The closer one scrutinizes what is said here, the clearer these truths will stand out. As we consider thought and what it is necessary to find the means of closer cooperation between the educated consciousness and the inner consciousness. Since it is the inner consciousness that is the custodian of our memory, it may be well for us to realize that over 90% of our everyday activity is handled by our inner consciousness, almost involuntarily, without a conscious effort on our part. Every thought we have ever produced lies in our storehouse of memory, ideas awaiting our call. However, we need not always put forth a conscious effort to profit by such recall, for the inner consciousness automatically uses those stored thoughts to direct our physical action. Yes, I know, we don't always recall the facts we desire exactly when we desire them, but that doesn't mean that they are not there. It usually means that we are keeping our process of mind so busy just searching for memory that our inner consciousness has no way of getting the message to us. Let me think. Meditation sound like a good solution there? How many times have you tried desperately to recall something and failed, and have gone about your business doing other things only to discover that suddenly you remember, clear and bright? There's only one process of mind, and you had kept it so busy trying to remember that there wasn't an open line of communication. Have you guys ever had that happen to you when you're trying to remember where you put something, you're trying to remember what you did with something, you're trying to remember where it is, and you're looking for it so hard you look right through it, right at it, and you stop looking and there it is. Magic. Thought is an expression of the creative intelligence as supplied to man, to every person, if only he will listen and receive and become conscious of the thoughts. All the thoughts of the universe, of this earth at least, are here and crowding in upon us. All we need to do is listen. I had not seen too many years when I first recognized the bombardment of the creative thought of nature. It started when I was still a boy, a loner with nature. I've always been a loner with nature. I used to like lying flat on my back in an old haystack out in the fields in spring. Once while doing just that and marveling at the formations of wild fowl overhead, a phenomena many times greater than today, I asked myself, what makes those geese, ducks, swans, and cranes fly north in the spring of the year? They were guided by some unforeseen force, unseen force. I determined, taken back to the place where they were born, their nesting place of the year before and years before that, where they laid their eggs and produced their young, and then in the fall, without road maps, they suddenly had the urge, something told them, to fly south. So they left their home and flew to the Southlands, where it would be warm and comforting during the cold northern winter nights and days. That was the awakening of my relationship with nature, and I have since cultivated every thought that I could recognize in my inner consciousness, or at least endeavored to do so, and built those thoughts into ideas. It is well that man's educated consciousness becomes aware of that other side of man, for it is the inner consciousness that is in constant touch with the creative intelligence, the director of nature. It is well to remember that every thought you produce tends to be given physical expression. Certainly, it will have an influence in the expression of your life. Man does not have the power to create thought. He becomes conscious of the creative thoughts and directs them in giving expression to his own activity. That is a different look. Man does not have the power to create thought. He becomes conscious of the creative thoughts and directs them in giving expression to his own activity. True, many of the thoughts man uses pardon me, as a guide to the expression of life are the thoughts of others. For thoughts are no respecter of persons. Neither is thought limited by space. This world is blanketed with thoughts. The consciousness simply becomes aware of them and either accepts or rejects them. What we think, we do. There are many types of thought: constructive, inventive, creative, optimistic, stimulative, and many other positive types. There are also negative types: destructive, pessimistic, depressing, hateful, and so on. Man must choose careful the thoughts he wishes to entertain. Remember, positive thoughts tend to bring much happiness to us and to others, adding to our pleasure of life, while negative thoughts tend to result in a discord of vibrations that will deteriorate the body. When the body is no longer a fitting abode, the life force departs. Man brings destruction upon himself. Cooperative thoughts and forgiveness are neutralizers that will give man inner peace. Man must determine to live in harmony with nature, for life is what we think to make it. Every cell in the body is subjected to the impulse of thought. The inner consciousness responds to such thought impulses and sends motivating energy to such muscles as are needed to carry out the demand of that thought. Thus the thought is being transmuted into physical expression. Have you ever seen a face turn ashen gray from anger? Or a face flush crimson from embarrassment? Have you ever been frozen to a spot from fear? All of these physical reactions are due to thought. What you think, you look. What you think, you do. What you think, you are. I think we'll stop there. I need to find find a bookmark. This is kind of along the lines of everything that we've been talking about and studying through the law of attraction. It's just a little bit different view on it, right? Him saying that we don't actually create thoughts. We're simply pulling from the thoughts that are in our unconscious, our inner consciousness. It's the same. It's the same. Now, I do want to get into our 22 processes. There are 22 of them. We're going to talk about putting a happy face on things and how we do that. And the first one is the rampage of appreciation. We're going to talk about that after our meditation. But I do want to get into our meditation today. Any requests for meditation? Always to continue to climb. I love this quote. It is possible for you to do whatever you choose if you first get to know who you are and you're willing to work with a power that's greater than ourselves to do it. So we got relationships and money. Some of you are still having challenges with relationships. I'm really going to encourage you to work on letting go of judgment of other people, and especially of judgment of yourself. If we're having challenges in relationships, the relationship we need to fix is with ourselves, and we need to let go of what we think we know. Of course, that's true in anything, isn't it? Our relationship with people, our relationship with our health, our relationship with our money, our relationship with our bodies, our relationships with the world. Have you noticed that? We seem to have a lot of people that are wanting more money today. Are we all good with money? Let me see if I can find, I'm pretty sure I have the money one. Yeah, your relationship with everything is all about what you think about. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about how so-and-so is doing such and such and nothing's happening and everything isn't happening and I'm doing everything I need to do and everything keeps happening and look at what's wrong? But it's the truth. It's what's happening. How am I supposed to take my view? How am I supposed to take my eye off of what's happening? Isn't that really what you want to ask? How am I supposed to stop thinking about the fact that I have no money? How am I supposed to stop thinking about these relationships that keep going sour? How am I supposed to stop thinking about all these illnesses, all these people that aren't doing what I think they should do? How am I supposed to stop thinking about what's really going on? Is that a challenge for anyone? That to take your attention away from what is actually going on and recognize that there really isn't anything going on? Oh, that's deep, isn't it? Okay, let me see. Somehow I think that's the money one, but I'm not sure. Money. We'll try this one. We'll see if this one works. If not, I have to search. So bear with me a second. Nope. All right. So it's one of these down here. It's general. It's either this one or the other one. So let me try this one. Certainly not a meditation, is it? Oh, that's funny. So I'm pretty sure that this is our money meditation right here. Whatever this is Abraham. We'll enjoy it for 15 minutes. Remember to get your breathing on track with the music. And we'll meet you back here in 15 minutes in a state of joy and wonderfulness so that we can practice our rampage of appreciation. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Enjoy.
Welcome. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is nice to have this opportunity to visit about relationships. Breathe in Breathe out. There is no subject of greater significance to you than relationships, for without others you could not be you. Breathe in. Breathe out. The others with whom you share your planet are of tremendous value to you, even when you want different things. Your Earth environment is large enough to accommodate all of the variety of interests, beliefs, and desires. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your differences are of great advantage in the stimulation of new ideas and are important to your expansion. Breathe in. Breathe out. You came here eagerly anticipating the expansion that would be born from your interaction with others. Breathe in. Breathe out. When you understand the value of differing opinions, you will reap immediate value from every relationship. And since you cannot make them change to please you, appreciating them where they are will give you ease. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sometimes it seems like others have the power to negatively affect your experience, but that is never true. Breathe in. Breathe out. Only your response to them has the power to pinch you off from the naturally good-feeling person you are. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sometimes others believe that their happiness depends upon your response to them, but that is never true. If you encourage them to believe that and stand on your head to please them, you don't help them or you. Breathe in. Breathe out. When you expect another to succeed without the benefit of your help, you see them as their source sees them. Breathe in. Breathe out. When you believe another needs your help and you shore up their weakness with your strength, you help them not. Breathe in. Breathe out. When you look for another's strengths, even when they are hard to find, your attention to them amplifies them. And in time, because of the spotlight you have shined, those strengths will become apparent to others as well. Breathe in. Breathe out. When others lash out at you in anger with words or action, their battle is not with you, but with themselves. Breathe in. Breathe out. If you do not take their behavior personally, understanding it is their personal battle, in time they'll leave you out of it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sometimes you think it is important what others think of you, and so you work to extract approval from them. Seek, because what comes to you always matches you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Focus on the best you can in others, and when characteristics you want are missing, practice seeing them anyway. When you practice the thoughts of the things that you desire, they must show up in your experience. It is law. Breathe in. Breathe out. You are doing extremely well. The relationships that you seek are flowing to you. Relax and enjoy the unfolding. Feel appreciation for what is and eagerness for what is coming. There is great love here for you. Breathe in. For the next few minutes, letting the music guide you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Did it help to remind you that we really have no control of others, only ourselves and how we feel about others? Good stuff, hey? Good stuff. Rampage of Appreciation. How many of you have our book? I hope, there we are. I hope you guys are hearing me. How many of you have this book? Ask and it is given. It is under our recommended reading. This is the book of all time that you all need to have. If you do not have this book, get it. Okay? This is, in my mind, this is pardon me, required reading. The first half of the book gets into your emotions, the 22 emotional set points. And I'm just going to read them. There are 22 of them. They start at the bottom. The bottom of the barrel is fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. Yeah, Dawn, order it. Amazon, you can get paperback, fairly reasonable. This is a hardcover copy, but I have it in paperback as well. Brand new copy. I have one in my car. I keep one in my car. And I'm obsessed with this book. So fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. I don't think anyone's at that place right now, although I suspect we've all been there at some point. Moves up to 21. Insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. These are very negative emotions. These are at the bottom of the scale. So you need to know that if you're feeling any of these, jealousy. Did you have any idea that jealousy was so far down the scale? If you're jealous of others, you're never going to get what you want. Hatred, rage, revenge, anger, discouragement. You got some blame. Anybody worrying? Have some doubt? Any disappointment? Feeling overwhelmed? These are all still very negative. Halfway up the scale, we have frustration, irritation, and impatience. Well, now we're getting better. We're moving up to pessimism, boredom, contentment. Now we're getting into more positive, hopefulness, optimism, positive expectation, belief, enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness, passion, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. Now what you really need to understand is that unless you've been practicing this for a very long time and you're very good at it, it can be a real challenge to get from that fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness feeling to joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation feeling. And there are 22, yes, there's really this number with 22. There are 22 processes or games, we like to call them games, that you can play that will get you moving up the scale. Now these games are a lot of fun. They're not hard, but they require that you do them. You know, just reading things and saying you're going to do things isn't going to change your life. You have to practice day in and day out. I'm just as guilty, but I do practice day in and day out. I'm always practicing. So the number one process is the rampage of appreciation, which we're going to talk about here. Then we have the magical creation box. I think it's time for us to start creating again. We're going to go into our creative workshop. How many of you have forgotten all about the creative workshop? About dreaming your day, starting your day in your creative workshop. Virtual reality game, the prosperity game, the process of meditation, evaluating dreams, the book of positive aspects, scripting, the placemat process, segment intending. Wouldn't it be nice if? Which thought feels better? Process of clearing clutter for clarity. It's my tongue twister. The wallet process. That one's fun. Pivoting. The focus wheel process. Finding the feeling place. Releasing resistance to become free of debt. Turning it over to the manager. Reclaiming one's natural state of health. And finally, moving up the emotional scale. The rampage of appreciation. How many of you remember what this is? Well, actually, I have a better question. How many of you use this one on a regular basis? Yes or no? How many of you stop And you flush a lot. I love that, Eileen. How many of you stop at any point in the day and give appreciation for the things in your environment, for the things around you? If you're having a bad day, do you stop and think, you want to use this process when you want to parlay a good mood into an even better one? When you want to enhance your relationship with someone or something? When you want to deliberately maintain your current good feeling set point? When you want to maintain or improve your current good feeling? When you want to deliberately focus upon something that's beneficial to your set point? When you're driving, walking, or standing in line, and you want to do something that's creatively productive? When there's something in your line of sight that could potentially take you to a place of negative emotion, and you want to maintain control of your own vibration? I bet that's a big one for a lot of you. Yes? When there's something in your line of sight that is negative or can be seen as negative? When your own thoughts or the words of someone you are with start off in a potentially negative direction and you want to control the direction of the subject matter? When you are aware that you are experiencing negative emotion and you want to change the way you feel? So can you see that the rampage of appreciation is really something you can use all the time? It's something that you should use all the time. It's something that you need to make a habit of. The rampage of appreciation process will be the most of value to you when your emotional set point is ranging somewhere between 1 and 5. So it says between optimism and joy. I challenge this, that you can go on a rampage of appreciation at any emotional set point. In fact, I think that if you're really down in the dungeon, finding something to appreciate, although it can be a challenge, can really free you. And I think when we practice it a lot, we really learn the power of appreciation. It can be played anywhere at any time because it can easily play simply by directing pleasant thoughts in your mind. So you don't need any special tools. You only need the power to stop thinking how you're thinking and look at something you appreciate. Appreciate my family. I would like right now, can you guys start writing a list of things that you appreciate in your world right now? Okay? Type it in the text chat. All the things that you have appreciation for. I have appreciation for all my TMM followers. I have appreciation for all my plants in my house. I have appreciation for my bears. I have appreciation for technology. I love technology and I love that it works. I have appreciation for my wonderful husband. He is amazing. I don't know what I would do without him. I love him so much. I do my best to never take him for granted and always show my appreciation. I appreciate all the wonderful books that I have access to. You guys have nothing to appreciate? There we are. Claudia appreciates her husband and family. Don appreciates his library, his family, his blue sky, his bike, his wife. Yes, I appreciate the warm weather coming. I appreciate our weather, period. I appreciate that I have weather. Claudia appreciates the roof over her head. I appreciate my family, my puppy, my cats, my house, the warm weather that's coming, much, much more. Keep writing it down. Much, much more doesn't count it. You need to write these things down. I really don't want to keep playing lip service, because the fact of the matter is, the more that you can write down that you're appreciative of, the more you'll remember when you need it. The view from my porch, my cat and fish. Oh, there's a good one. My cat and I would appreciate having both of them, and they're both still doing well. My home, my business, my cats, warm weather. I appreciate my cat. Yeah, my cat, Spider. I appreciate Blanca, my daughter's cat. I appreciate Butler, my son's cat. I love cats. Nature outside of my porch, warmth, skis, health, loving myself, clean water. Isn't that awesome to just think for a moment, what is it that's in your life that you're appreciative of? Don says, I appreciate that I have the awareness to appreciate. That's a good one. So what exactly do you appreciate? What What do you have an awareness of in your existence right now, Dawn, that you appreciate? Lynn appreciates his wife. Eileen appreciates all of us. Loving myself and others. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate that I get to choose my attitude. I appreciate that I'm learning this. I appreciate that I discovered I'm responsible for me. That's power. I appreciate the studies, the teachings of Abraham. I appreciate that I got up breathing this morning. I appreciate this virus that's in my body, teaches me to take care of myself, teaches me more about my thoughts. I'm appreciative of the coffee. I'm appreciative of this ceramic mug that keeps my coffee hot, although my coffee cup is empty right now. So I appreciate my wonderful husband who's going to plug the kettle in to make me a pot of coffee or to make me a cup of coffee. I appreciate the teachings of Dr. Forrest C. Shackley. I appreciate everything in life. I appreciate all of you. Appreciate your thoughts, good, bad, or indifferent. When you have a negative thought, appreciate that you can recognize it. I appreciate when I recognize when I'm thinking is thinking. I appreciate the rocks on my desk. I have a collection of heart-shaped rocks. It all started with this one that I found when we were in the rainforest with Dawn and my son. Look at that. It's a perfect, it's flat. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful heart? And then I have a whole bunch. I have little ones and big ones, and my desk is just, here's another one that's kind of heart-shaped. Look at this. I barely asked and the coffee shows up. Thank you, my love. He must have been making it, read my mind. And this one, which I think is very cool, and it kind of looks like a heart, but when you turn it, it actually looks like an actual heart. It's really phenomenal. It's just a beautiful rock. I have little ones. Find a little one that's very heart-shaped. Kind of heart-shaped, and here we go. You can see I have a whole plate of them. I picked them up along the beach. We've been out in Victoria. We're going back there in April. I'm so excited about that. I'm grateful for the time I had with family. Oh, I'm grateful for chocolate. I love chocolate. I love Lay's potato chips. I'm grateful for my health. I am very healthy, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be approaching my 61st birthday. That's a big deal in our family, so I'm very grateful for that. And I appreciate that with my loving attitude, I help create a world where it's safe for us to love each other. And I want each of you to know how much I care and appreciate you. You are everything to me. The fact that you come here every day to learn and grow is amazing. So today I want you to start going on a rampage of appreciation for everything you see. If you're standing in line, there's a lineup, you're in traffic, look around you and find things to appreciate. Appreciate the buildings, appreciate the carpet, appreciate the colors, appreciate the little things. I'd like to hear about it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the magical creation box. I think we're going to get back into it. So I'm going to suggest to all of you today, keep your eye open for a box. All right, a box that you can decorate or not, but just a box that you can put things in, that you can write things and put them in your box. It's going to be things you're going to create. You're going to create magic, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Are you looking forward to it? Because I am. Well, you guys are pretty amazing. Wasn't that a great exercise, Dawn? And Dawn, I'm really glad you brought that up, because the truth of the matter is we forget how simple that is. And if you start your day every day in the morning making a list of things you appreciate, you go on a rampage of appreciation every morning, every night. It's the same thing as your gratitude journal. What are you grateful for? What happened today that you are excited about? So we did it this morning. So I'm going to challenge you that tonight, before you settle down for the night, and Dawn, I'm going to challenge us to tell each other what we appreciate before we go to sleep tonight. Can you hold me to that? Because you know how I am. I tend to forget. I have great ideas and then I forget. So I'm going to hold on to that he's going to remind me tonight that before I drift off to sleep, I'm always asleep before him, that we share what we're grateful for today. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you for being here. And